Good afternoon. My name is Patrick Harity. I'm the Master of Ceremonies for our Wayne Westland Memorial Day Parade after ceremony. Thank you everybody for attending, and thank you for all dignitaries and guests. At this time we will have Timothy Horvath, chaplain, and Westland Police Sergeant give the invocation. Please rise.
Please bow your heads. O Lord Almighty, remember those that lived and died fighting to protect the dignity and the freedom of mankind. Let our spirits be proud of them. Let our hearts be compassionate and our minds clear and determined in giving them honor and respect. Let us be dependent on the loving kindness of the Lord our God. As we remember the departed, let us be true soldiers in the war and in peace. Let us be courageous protectors and true guardians of freedom. Let us be true masters of brotherly love. O Lord, guide us in the way of mortal responsibility. Enlighten us who are true believers in ethics and justice. Let this be a day of remembrance and honor to those who sacrificed their lives in order to give us liberty and our nation's security. Remember them, O Lord, in your mercy, and have compassion on us. Make us a generation of wisdom, discipline, and faith. We pray in your holy name. Amen.
Please remain standing for the national anthem played by John Glenn High School and Wayne Memorial High School. Present arms. Order arms. Please be seated. We'll now have our guest speakers. First speaking on the Mayor of Westland, the Honorable Mayor William R. Wild.
Thank you. And thank you all for joining us here today at this ceremony. It's really remarkable to once again say that we're having a parade as a ceremony here in the city of Westland, joining with the city of Wayne once again. When the decision was made not to have a parade, it really left a hole in our spirit here in the All-American City. So we're super pleased that we're able to honor our veterans here again today. And the Westland Veterans Memorial Garden, I think, is probably one of the most unique places that you'll find in any city to honor those that gave the ultimate sacrifice. So I thank everybody that's here today. I really thank all the people that made this happen. It took a lot of people to put this together and make it a tradition here once again in the All-American City. So on the back page of your program, it has a list of all those folks. But at the end of the day, it's about the veterans, and that's who we're here for here today. So Thank you all the veterans for being here today, and I just want you to know you're part of a thankful city, the city of Westland. Would like to give all of you thank you for your service and the family members. And as today's ceremony goes on, just remember that we're here today to remember those that gave the ultimate sacrifice. So once again, thank you all for joining us here today.
Thank you, Mayor Wild. Next, we have the Mayor of Wayne, the Honorable Mayor John Rasa. Did I say that right?
Good afternoon. It's a distinct honor to be here with you today as we come together to remember and honor the service and sacrifice of our nation's finest and bravest. I want to thank Mayor Wild and the City of Westland and the Parade Committee and everyone that has had a part of putting this year's event together. This has just been absolutely amazing. Memorial Day descends from Southern tradition of Decoration Day, where families would travel to the cemeteries where their ancestors were interred to place flowers on their graves. Often large groups of extended families would make the trip, religious ceremonies would take place, and food would be served. Decoration Day used to reflect the cycles of farm life taking place in the late summer when farm work was lightest, or in autumn after the seasonal harvest. Memorial Day as we know it was established on May 5th, 1868, when Grand Army of Republic, a Civil War veteran organization, General John A. Logan, the Guard's first commander-in-chief, declared May 30th to be Memorial Day and called on Guard's membership to make it an annual occurrence. Some hold that day was chosen because it wasn't the anniversary of a specific battle, while in 2010, President Barack Obama's Memorial Day speech makes reference to the date being chosen because it was where flowers were optimally in bloom for decorating graves. And one thing that I thought was pretty amazing was that 1 year later, the city of Wayne became a village. So for the city of Wayne, this has been something that we've had as part of our community for 150 years. Across our nation, this Memorial Day, our citizens and our veterans gather to pay respects to America's finest men and women who gave their lives in defense of freedom, for our freedom. As we express our gratitude today, we must never forget what the highest, brightest appreciation is not just words, is not to just speak the words, but to live by them. This is why we are all gathered here, to honor our veterans, the few who were so willing to give themselves to defend their brothers and their country. It is a small fraction of our population charged with keeping us safe, with keeping our liberties intact. Peter Hegseth had a quote, and we need to remember this. Memorial Day isn't just about honoring veterans. It's honoring those who lost their lives. Veterans had the fortune of coming home. For us, that's a reminder of when we come home, we still have a responsibility to serve. It's a continuation of service that honors our country and those who fell defending it. I wanted to extend an invitation to everyone for this Tuesday night at the Wayne Historical Museum. The Wayne Rotary Club will be rededicating a Veterans Rock Memorial that was moved to the museum that was originally dedicated on May 30th, 1966 by the Wayne JCs. It's going to be a great little event, and if you have time, I would appreciate you guys to come by. And finally, we should spend today reflecting on the service and sacrifice of these brave men and women and live in gratitude each and every day for the precious gift they have given us. Thank you, and may God bless and keep our fallen and their families, our veterans, and our active military. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Racey. Next, we have Brigadier General, United States Air Force retired. She wanted to make sure I got the retired. Carol Ann Fausone with her address.
It is my honor to be with you today in Westland to talk about this great country, the service that I love so dearly. Before I start, let me thank the veterans of Westland and Wayne for restarting this important parade and celebration. It is a demonstration of these two great communities, the importance of values and beliefs. Thank you for taking control of the process and making sure it was done with dignity befitting this great country. I thank you for the continued support you show for friends, family, and fellow Americans that serve and that have served in the United States military. Across our great land, thousands of American flags proudly waving mark the resting place of soldiers, sailors, Marines, airmen, Coast Guard, and merchant mariners who had their lives cut short so that we may live freely and enjoy the blessings of liberty. Memorial Day is the one day of the year that we set aside to remember and honor our country's fallen patriots. But you know, I want to tell you, we owe them a debt of gratitude every day of the year. We honor those who serve, have served, and those who gave the last full measure of devotion. President Abraham Lincoln spoke these eloquent words as he dedicated a cemetery in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, to those who fell in that battle. Lincoln knew all too well the cost of freedom counted in the lives of brave men who took up their arms to defend the United States of America through our history, and they paid the ultimate price for their service. Memorial Day is also called Decoration Day. It is a patriotic holiday in the United States. It is a day set aside for Americans to remember those who lost their lives in defense of this country. Memorial Day stands as a solemn American tradition, honoring servicemen and women over the generation. It is not Armed Forces Day. It is not Veterans Day. It is more a somber day to honor and to help us to think about the unthinkable. Memorial Day took on a new feel during World War I in 1915 as a result of a poem written by Moya Michael titled, "We Shall Keep Faith." The words describe a battlefield where those lost, it came to beauty. I will read you the poem. We cherish too the poppy red that grows on fields where valor led. It seemed to signal to the skies that blood of heroes never dies. She then conceived of an idea to wear the red poppies on Memorial Day in honor of those that perished. The poppy was adopted as the official Memorial Day flower. The buddy poppy was coined as a tribute to their comrade who did not come home from war, or who was scarred and crippled because of the service, which is a hallmark of war. Respect for comrades is what the buddy poppy represents, and serves and should serve as a perpetual tribute to those that lost their lives for freedom. The war on terrorism has been going on now approaching 20 years. 7,500 have died in uniform. Many of those also have come home with scars of sacrifice. Today, I also want to pray for those veterans who leave the battlefield scarred and unable to reintegrate. The 20 veteran suicides a day is not acceptable, and it is preventable. So we need to do something about that. Those men and women deserve to be remembered, and their families, on this Memorial Day. On this Memorial Day, let us continue the great tradition of expressing our heartfelt appreciation for the protectors and defenders of all we cherish and hold dear. We owe them a debt of gratitude, a tremendous debt, one that is eternal. We must not forget their families. That spirit of patriotism and service is perhaps our greatest national treasure and most special. I want to read you a little written message that was delivered by a military minister. I will pray for our country and all who served or who serve, for their families who serve by losing precious days, weeks, months without their loved ones at home, who are offering, preserving peace and freedom in this country. I'll pray for the families who have paid the ultimate sacrifice, whose loved ones died or were taken captive and never returned. I'll pray for anyone who may still be held in captivity and thinks perhaps they were forgotten. I will not forget. I am so grateful to live in this country where my fellow citizens appreciate members of the service and the military who gave their ultimate sacrifice and served with honor. Today, on this Memorial Day, as you go from this ceremony, take a moment to thank each one. I want to thank each one of you for being here, for it is you, the citizens of this great country, and in particular, these two great communities, Westland and Wayne. It is with pride and gratitude that we pause on this Memorial Day to remember great, brave Americans. We recognize their valor and rejoice in the blessings that they stepped forward to give us freedom. You can honor the fallen by passing on the importance of this day to children, grandchildren, your neighbors. You honor past generation of patriots by letting friends and family know that Memorial Day is just not a day for a picnic or an auto race. It is a day to stop and remember, for it is Memorial Day. God bless you, God bless our families, God bless our veterans, and God bless the United States of America.
Thank you, General Fausone. Wow. Since this country's birth, there have been a history of sacrifice going right back to the American Revolution. In the Revolutionary War, there has been 4,435 total deaths, according to the United States Census. But think back to the Revolutionary War. They did not have a lot of record keeping back then. The War of 1812, 286,730 served, 2,260 made the ultimate sacrifice. The Mexican War, 78,710 served, 13,383 never made it home to their families. Civil War, 2,213,363 served in the Civil War. 364,511 never got to see another sunrise. Spanish-American War, 306,760 served during the Spanish-American War. 2,446 never returned. World War I, 4,734,991 served. 116,000 of them, 516, never came home. World War II, 16,112,556. 405,399 ensured that we did not fall under tyranny. Korean War, 5,720,000. 34,574 never came home. Vietnam, 8,744,000 deployed. 58,220 adorn a wall in Washington, D.C., and in our hearts. Persian Gulf War, 2.25 million served. 383 never came home. There are some others that we don't really think about. Iranian hostage rescue. 8 never came home. Lebanon peacekeeping. 256 never returned. Operation Urgent Fury in Grenada, 18. Panama, 23. Ugh. There are wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. They still go. Over 7,000 have not returned home. Memorial Day is a day where we can have we can go swimming, we can have our barbecues, but like the general said, we take time and remember those Americans never came home, and we are who we are today because they made the ultimate sacrifice. At this time, we're going to have the presentation of the wreaths, starting with Group 1, represented by BOVA VFW 9885 and Auxiliary. Vietnam Veterans of America, Jerry Baker. Vietnam Veterans of America, Mike Bruns. Representing the Post is Michael Golden. VFW 9885 Auxiliary President Charles Scott. American Legion Post 251 Commander Jim Nichols. Vice Commander Dan Valdez. Adjutant Ron Nichols. Veterans Haven, represented by Judy Berna, Jacques Pavlik, and Mark Iscaro. Westland area JCs, Andrea Rutkowski and April Hendricks. Westland Meteors football and cheer, football director James Pierce, cheer director Jennifer Owens. City of Westland, represented by the mayor, William R. Wild. City of Wayne, represented by John Racy. Wayne Historical Society, represented by members of the society. Westland Police Department, represented by Deputy Chief Randy Theveridge and Officer Shane Kozak, United States Marine Corps. Westland Fire Department, represented by Alex Silvestri. Wayne Westland Parade Council, represented by Dan and Dina Stachow. Westland Veterans Association, represented by Lawrence Willenberg and Ron Schlim. Please remain standing, and if you would like to join me in a group Pledge of Allegiance. Present arms. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Order, arms. We will now have a flag lowering ceremony. Firing detail, please perform your duties. Thank you, John Glenn High School and Wayne Memorial High School Trumpet Duet. Want to thank the Parade Commission, led by Richard Jordan, veteran, United States Marine Corps, Tim Horvath, United States Air Force, Dan Stachow, United States Army, and Vic Barra, United States Air Force. This concludes our ceremony. Everybody is invited to VFW Post 9885, BOVA. Commander Mike Rakita, invites us all to 6440 North Hicks Road, Westland, Michigan. We'll be serving hot dogs, chips, and beverages to all parade goers and their families, and anyone who would like to join us. We'd also like to thank the parade sponsors, Wayne Ford Civic League, Westland Car Care, VFW Post 9885 BOVA, Wayne Lawn and Garden, and Heartland Marketplace. Thank you for attending our service today.